Well, hello and welcome to Bowtie Life. It is time for the November Raised Garden Bed Tours. And this is the earliest in the month I've ever recorded. I've spent the past few months trying to get it, working it towards the beginning of the month. But before we talk about all that, I need your help. Now, anyone who's subscribed, go ahead and fast forward just a few seconds, 12, 15 seconds. But those of you who have not subscribed, we've got a lot of you out there. Please subscribe to this channel. We're working on reaching our next big goal, and we need your subscriptions to reach that goal, and would appreciate it if you just click that subscribe button. It's free. It's just a single click, and it would really help us a lot. So thank you so much. Now, on with the rest of this garden tour. Yeah, we've got a lot going on this month. In fact, we've got well, I've got a harvest bucket that we're about to use, and you know what this means. If you watch any of my garden tours, we're going to be harvesting something. So yeah, here we go. Let's have some fun. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. Now, if you watch the any of the first two parts, you know that we've had kind of a busy summer. The front yard, the front and side gardens look okay. The outer beds and the raised garden beds have some challenges because we traveled a lot this year. There was a lot of unplanned travel that we ended up selling our cabin in Arkansas, and I lost about 7 weeks worth of work this summer, and so yeah, a lot of stuff didn't happen, and we had to pick our battles and decide, okay, this is not something that we're going to have to worry about right now. We need to move on with higher priority stuff. So yeah, there's a lot in the garden that's looking a little bit rough. That outer garden bed tour, that was probably the worst part. There's still some stuff growing in the raised beds, but in fact, the patio out here, I'll see if I can show you a short of this patio here. It's kind of overgrown. I told about last month that we're going to have to get this all pulled up and redone, this time with polymeric sand, so we don't get the weeds growing between the tiles. I just used sand, and that was a mistake, obviously. So yeah, things are going to happen this year, this winter, maybe over the next spring, and it's just, you know, growing as we go. So we did have a nice guest in our garden. The other day it was raining. Actually, yesterday it was raining when we were doing our garden tours. The first part, you'll notice there's a lot of rain, and it was wet. And the rain kept hitting the screen and stopping my recordings. I didn't know it would do that, but it was quite a mess, to say the least. And so we've been kind of picking our battles and getting what we can, but we have been harvesting from the raised beds quite a bit, and it's been very productive. We did some stuff at the beginning of the season that got us going. There's some stuff that I've been letting go to seed, and we'll look at all that. But yeah, our special guest in the garden, the cats from one of our neighbors, we're pretty sure it's the neighbor has several cats that come and go. But they come in here and they're allowed. I welcome them. One of these days, I want to figure out how to attract them a little more. We might have to plant some catnip or put out little bowls of water for them or something, so they can have a little refreshment. But this little guy was I don't know, guy or girl. This little cat was laying in a little right over there on that table. This little flat thing that I planted something in, it has a little dirt in it, and just decided to make that its bed. So anyway, cats are welcome here. We don't have any problem with spraying or any cat waste in any of the garden beds. I've never smelled anything, so I don't mind them to be here, because we got mice and rats, and they're welcome to hit those. We also have lizards, which I know they get too, and I don't want them to get those, but it's all part of nature. There's no absolutes out here. But anyway, so to begin with, we have this map of our property. In fact, I'm very excited. I'm hoping next month that we have our guy come out that's going to do some drone photos and videos for me, and we'll be able to have not just a Google grab here, but some actual good videography here, photo and video work for this little map. But you can see this place is only, it's 100 foot wide, 106 foot deep. You don't have to have a lot of land to be able to grow food and enjoy it, and healthy food. And you know, even this small amount can help with supply chain problems. If a lot of people did something like this, we would never have that type of problem that we had back, you know, a few years ago. Won't say it or anything, but you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that'll never happen again if we could just do more of this. And it doesn't even have to be this involved. If people just grew a few things, it would be a complete change to the world. But anyway, so yeah, this 100 foot wide, 106 foot deep is our property in the middle of Old Destin. And we do a lot of vertical gardening. As you can see behind me, there's a lot of vertical stuff going on here. We got something going on over here that is all vertical that we're going to get to at the very end of this video, which is what the bucket's for. But anyway, this is going to be, the garden beds are actually on the back of this map. You can see here, this is where the garden beds are, and we're going to just extract those garden beds out of this image, and we're just going to put the garden beds down here in the corner, and then this red circle is going to show you where we're at as we're going through the garden. And right now we're looking at the beginning of bed number 1, which we're going to get to in just a second. But first we need to go over to the GreenStalk over here. I'm pointing at my screen, that's silly. The GreenStalk over here. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So as I frequently say, this video, all these videos are actually my own personal journal of the things that are going on in the garden. So I like to do these. I look back on these, I see what's going on, and I reference them frequently to get ideas or do research on what I've done in the past. So this is really my own journal, and you are just so invited to come along with me. But we have this GreenStalk. It's on a spinner. I try to turn it every once in a while. It's actually got a 1/4-inch tube coming out of our irrigation down here that waters it every 2 or 3 days. And the water actually goes into this top section, and it's evenly spread throughout the whole system. So everything gets an amazingly even amount of water. So we have some strawberries in here. That's the one thing I want to take note of right now, because look, we actually have buds on our strawberries right now, and I think that's actually a strawberry coming out. Now this is November, of course. We'll have to see what happens there, but I basically wanted to put a few strawberry plants up in here to kind of propagate my strawberry bed at the beginning of the first part of this garden tour. So just kind of spreading things out a little bit. But I mean, a lot of basil in here. Oh my goodness, this stuff smells amazing. I just bumped this branch here, and it just fills the air with the aroma of just fresh basil. Some of it's going to seed, which has a tendency to make it not taste quite as good. This is Genovese basil. And of course we got parsley down here. Oh, there's a leaf flower in with that strawberry. That's got to come out. No, that strawberry is not in there. What is going on here? So I've got some, I got a runner here that I need to put in somewhere. Oh, good opportunity. Let's put this thing right down in here with this basil that's going to be deceasing pretty soon. And that'll help. I'm just kind of getting that, and you can see how this whoops, see, I pulled it back out. Okay, let me just show you this one. You see how that's growing right there? It's actually got a couple of roots reaching out, ready to grow. And so you stick that in the soil, and that will be a new strawberry plant in no time at all. And I'll take this other one and do the same thing down here with this parsley. Parsley will be going soon, but the strawberries will last longer. So I'm just going to stick those little tiny roots down in the soil, and that will take off. So that's awesome. All right. So standing up slowly because I'm a little sore. We got parsley in there. We've got, in fact, there's a big parsley plant I saw back on this side. Look at this parsley right here. Yeah, that's a big old parsley plant. Mrs. Bowtie was cooking for something. Needed some parsley. Got it cut off there. Okay, so that's parsley. Yeah, that's the and that's the GreenStalk. Not a lot to it. I am trying to keep it a little more maintained. Again, this has been one of our not so triumphant battles. Again, choosing our battles has been a key thing. So anyway, from the GreenStalk, we're going to go right over here to bed number 1. So at the beginning of bed number 1, we have our Kajari Melon. And this is my second attempt at Kajari Melon. If you saw in the first attempt, I grew some gathered seeds that got cross-pollinated with something else and grew something hideous. It was terrible tasting. And so I replanted real seeds for this Kajari Melon. And we have down here, and in fact, I have been picking off any others that have grown, but we have down here one decent looking Kajari melon that I am hoping will make it. I'm determined to get something out of this. With the sun getting lower in the horizon, days getting a little shorter, we'll have to see if I actually get anything, see if that thing will actually get to the point where it's nice and tasty and edible. But I have hope, but it kind of looks rough. I have been picking all the other fruits off this one vine. And yes, this is one vine, so that it can focus on that one fruit sitting on top of that bucket inside that organza bag. Trying to get it there. Ginger, right past it. Now the ginger is looking really good. In fact, it is bubbling up out of the ground. You can see there's bits there. There's bits underneath there. Look at all that ginger. Oh, that looks good. We have so many big ginger plants here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this one right here is the huge one. I can't get over. I mean, look at how big this thing is getting. This thing, that's ginger. There's more. This is one tuber coming out this whole length over here, over 9 inches long, maybe a foot long. That's going to be a big one when we do finally harvest it. But this, see, the leaves on here are actually looking really good. I'll be more likely to harvest this one with the leaves that are dying first. And it's going to be decent size. It's probably going to be 8-10 inches long by the time I pull it out. We'll do that on video, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. But yeah, this one here is going to be the prize. Oh my goodness, it's huge. It's got so many plants coming out of that one tuber. Very exciting. Fresh ginger from the garden. Yum. So past that, we have Emerson's cucumber plant. Emerson's my grandson, and he helped plant these. We have one survivor. It's kind of getting to the end of the season, and I'm looking for a cucumber. I've picked a number. Oh, yep, looky there. There's one right there. So that's actually, oh, there's a worm has gotten into it, but still mostly good to eat. And we're going to be hopefully doing something with the rest of the cucumbers that we collect. They are kind of petering out. You can see lots of dead leaves, but there's still some green ones, and it's trying to develop. And so, yeah, that brings us to this other vine up here, which is blackberries. And these blackberries, see way over there, there's vines growing up, coming across up here, all the way over here. This thing is 30 feet long, at least 20 feet long. And so I've been getting the span out, and these are the thornless blackberry, which is really nice because they don't poke you or anything. They don't hurt. And we're going to get more blackberries out over here. I would like to get a better harvest of blackberries in the spring this year, so we can start doing some jams and jellies or something like that with the blackberries. But I mean, look how massive this vine is. You saw in the beginning of the outer garden beds, the big one. Well, this one is my biggest one right here. It is huge, and it is going to be a monster of a plant. And of course, the blackberries, they grow up, they touch the ground, they start another plant, they grow up, touch the ground, they spread like wildfire. So yeah, lots of blackberry. In fact, this was our first harvest of cucumbers. I never even planted again on there. I've just let the blackberries take over back in here. But you can see, look down here where it has touched the ground. You can barely even see down here. Oh no, I guess it hadn't rooted. I thought maybe it had rooted in again, but maybe not. But yeah, these climbing across there, going across over there into the other cucumber bed and bed number 2. But yeah, the blackberries, we're gonna have blackberries this year, I am hoping. On the other side of the blackberries is, let me flip over, I'm gonna go right over to that side. And here, of course, we have okra. And the okra, oh my goodness. This is the okra forest. We've been watching this okra forest. Look how much okra is actually up there. Now, we stopped harvesting these almost 2 months ago. And we have so much okra put aside that we really don't need anymore. But look way up there at the top of that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 big pods on that long branch right there. And we will be cutting that down and measuring it on video here pretty soon. It was a year ago today that we measured our 17-foot okra. I don't think this is quite as tall, but it is pretty darn close. It might be 14 feet tall. Look at all the pods that are going to seed. Now these are not edible anymore. They are just, we're literally waiting for them to completely dry out. I see some of them are getting ready to split open, and we will get up there and cut these down before they really split open and start spreading seeds everywhere, because I'd rather control where they go. We did have a lot of okra this year. Last year we harvested into October, but we only had half the plants that we have this year. So this year, so much more okra. We harvested like wildfire, and yeah, oh, and you can see the blackberries are spilling over on this side over here too. But yeah, there's some pretty big okra in there. Watch the video for where we measure those and get an idea how tall these things grew. It's just, that blows my mind. One of the biggest things though that I'm happy about is all these flowers. These are marigolds. And first off, look at all the bees on them. These are probably our honeybees, and they are sitting there just loving these marigolds and eating away at the pollen and the nectar, whatever they can get out of there. They are all over these. I actually planted this marigold way back in the spring. In fact, it was about the time I put the first harvest of cucumbers on this trellis right here, and it didn't flower until the okra stopped shading it out. And now that the okra is not shading out, look at it. It was just a plant right here. Now it's just spread out. It's huge. It's enormous and beautiful. So that's been a very nice thing. I have a feeling I'm going to try to cut some of these flowers and bring one in for Mrs. Bowtie for her desk. She has a special little vase that would look really good with some of these marigolds. But beautiful, beautiful flowers. I am going to clear out some of this bed here. I've got some cauliflower and broccoli that needs to go somewhere. And I think I'm going to try to get 4 plants into this little space here, if I can get everything cleared out, all this nasty stuff cleared out of here, and maybe move some of those blackberries around. How beautiful is that? Oh, Mrs. Bowtie. How about a little surprise from the garden?
Oh, lovely.
There you go.
Thank you.
For your desk.
Those are beautiful.
They really are. So past the end of bed number 1, of course, is the peach tree. I'm not sure what this is. I keep calling it a peach tree because that's what I was told. We'll just have to see what it is. I do not know. Anyway, it's looking a little better because of the paint. It has less sunburn on it. We do have the turmeric down here at the bottom. I now know is in the wrong place, and I'm gonna have to do better with that next year, but we'll harvest this here and get something out of it. So the next bed number 2, we have first off the cucumber plant. Well, hey, Henderson. So we've got some excellent cucumbers out of this. We've given a lot away here in this more recent harvest because we simply have enough. Aren't these things beautiful? That's just amazing. There's even another one underneath there that's got a little worm damage down the end, but still plenty of good eating on that. Goes all the way up there. Lots and lots of cucumbers. These things are just such fantastic producers. So very happy about that. So next to the cucumbers, of course, is our beans. And these Blue Lake Stringless pole beans, I was just picking a few big ones. And I used to wonder if these big ones would not do well canned. And let me tell you something, they are just as good. They are just as tasty, no strings. They are an amazing bean. I picked off several, and there's still just so many. You can see up there, there's one sticking out right there. There's one sticking out between the pipes right there. There's another one up there. This thing has just got beans all over it. So I better get out here and pick those. That's not what the harvest bucket's for, though I did gather a few. They do look thin, but they're still producing. And we did lose a number of these plants to, number one, the heat of the summer. I didn't have the shade cloth over it. Next year I will. I'll do a lot better with that. There's something else down here that took out the ones on the end that we're going to cover at the end of this video, because yeah, it's craziness out here. You might have seen it on one of my videos. Let's go over there to the other side. So over here on the opposite side of the beans, we have a row of pepper plants. And these, first thing here, we have 2 plants of Peppadew. And I got to tell you, look at these things producing under here. There's a whole bunch of them. Probably 20 or 30 of them on this one plant. This one has not started turning yet. They will pretty soon. There's some more Peppadew down the other end that is turning and ripe already. This is an old basil bush, and it's already gone to seed. Did this go to seed? No, it still looks like it's still shooting out new leaves. I think this went to seed. Now that I think about it, I don't remember seeing any seeds, any flowers on here, but I'm just letting this thing go until it doesn't go, and it'll be good. We have a couple of Thai hot peppers. We have a dragon cayenne there and here, and I've been harvesting a bunch off of these. Check the Facebook page to see some of the harvests that we've had, but this is a Thai hot pepper. You can tell it's the Thai hot because it's still sticking straight up. And when you come over here to the dragon cayenne hang down. Once they're off the plant, you can't tell the difference though. So I always only harvest one kind at a time. I'll harvest all the Thai hots, or I'll harvest all the dragon cayennes. And you can see here, I've actually harvested a whole bunch from these plants. All those little empty caps all through here, these were Thai hot peppers that are all turned ripe and ready to eat and are sitting in the freezer now. So here's the other Peppadew. This is what the Peppadew looks like when it's nice and ripe. Look at that beauty right there. Oh, that's just amazing. It's a wonderful tasting pepper, and just beautiful. Bunch of them down here. I'm going to have to harvest some of those real soon too. I want the birds to get those. It's kind of a jalapeno level hot. So I'm going to skip over that right there, that dark mass there. If you watched my previous garden tours, you know what that is. But, I do want to come back over here, back behind this basil plant. This was kind of a neat surprise. I remember planting, this was a start from a Bonnie seed plant, Bonnie plant's start of a marigold. And it just started popping out flowers here recently, but look back there. And then if I come back to the front here, there's even more marigolds. Isn't that just beautiful? That was a nice surprise. I did not expect that. I'm not sure what kind of marigold that is, but they're doing great as an understory. I think I planted it somewhere right about here. No, I don't know. I cannot find the tag. It's a Bonnie plant. I always stick those Bonnie plant tags right at the base. So it should be right in here somewhere, but I am not seeing it. So anyway, that's just a beautiful little surprise in the garden. So let's go ahead and we're talking about peppers. Let's go ahead and look at the pepper bed. So we're here past the aloe patch at bed number 3. And if you stay up with our Facebook posts or our community posts on YouTube, you know that we've just harvested, I don't know, I think I got over 3 pounds of peppers out of this. But look, it's ready again. And these, like this Tabasco plant, look how many Tabasco peppers are on there. I've harvested most of them, but there's still a lot on here to be harvested. When they're red like this, I'm only collecting red ones. When they're red like this, they come right out of their cap. Ooh, those aren't ready yet. The ones that are like really ready just pop right, oh, there you go. See how that popped right out of its little cap? And you can see just tons and tons of little caps that have already been picked. And then it comes out with new buds and grows more peppers. And it just keeps getting more and more and more and more peppers. So this one Tabasco plant, which goes from there all the way over here, it's 4 foot wide, maybe a little more, has just been this prolific producer of Tabascos. We've had a lot of southern hot pepper sauce out of this thing. It's been wonderful. But you can see mixed in here, we have, like here is a branch of Scotch Bonnet. Look how massive these Scotch Bonnet peppers are. They're huge, they're wonderful. Huge Scotch Bonnet. And just over here, we have Fatali, another kind of pepper, about the same type of heat as a Scotch Bonnet, but just producing everywhere. I can easily see if I harvested everything, I would easily get another 3 pounds out of this bed. We have a lot of Scotch Bonnet down in here. Just absolute tons. I don't even know what the watering situation is down here. Obviously, it's doing something. I'm noticing some leaf curl here, which tells me there may be a problem. But, oh, there's a bell pepper. There is a giant bell pepper plant down in here. Look at just tons and tons and tons of Scotch Bonnets everywhere. But yeah, there is a giant bell pepper plant down in here somewhere. And I don't know where the base of it is. More Fatali. Look at, there's jalapeno. Oh, this is peri-peri. Just buried in here. These pepper plants don't mind the company. Don't mind being close. There's Fatali all through there. And this is a huge Fatali plant right here. I've never had one this big. Look how big the trunk is down here. It's enormous. Now, most of these peppers, folks, listen carefully. Most of these peppers that are growing in here that are producing pounds upon pounds upon pounds of hot peppers, most of these peppers froze and died to the ground back over Christmas of last year. I cut them off at the ground and just let them start growing up their new stuff. And this is what's now, not the Tabasco is the exception, but everything else in here, except for one plant at the other end, has grown up from those dead plants that the freeze didn't get to the roots. I actually had this covered with plastic. You can go back and see the video on this, how I had it all covered with plastic. But I'm just noticing here. No, it's not being lifted out. Why is that one so much lower than this one? I don't know. This was the frame for the plastic to keep it off the plants. But eventually, before it gets really cold again, I'll end up cutting these plants all the way down, and we're going to try to get a third year out of these. Wouldn't that be cool? Pepper plants can last multiple years. So, yeah, more Fatali. Now this one pepper plant right here, look at these habaneros. These orange habaneros right here, just glowing in the sunlight. Those are nice and hot. I haven't had the bravery to eat one of those yet. I'm going to have to find out how hot they are really growing. I'm waiting because as the season is cooling off, I know they get a little cooler. So yeah, I can be wimpy about it at times. I know. Now this, there's one more Fatali plant right here. All these Fatali peppers like this that are growing in this area, this is the Fatali that we did the experiment with to see if it would grow adventitious roots. And it would not. So this Fatali would not do that at all. Should be a link in the upper right hand corner of the screen in the cards to that video if you want to go see that. This jalapeno plant, this is a mammoth jalapeno. It's starting to shoot out some more jalapenos. You can see they're small right now, but it will get bigger and they will start changing color. Being very careful because I actually broke this one off last time I was in here, and I didn't really mean to do that. But yeah, that's the mammoth jalapeno. It's kind of down here on the shaded end, so it's not getting all the sun that it would like at all. But yeah, look at here. Here's a habanero that's just falling on the ground. Ooh, that's some heat right there. I can see peppers all through here. Green ones, red ones. There's a whole bunch of habaneros right up along there. This thing is giving a lot of peppers this year. It has done amazingly well. Just blown me away. just a dream. This is how we got the 2.5 gallons of fermenting hot peppers. Not 2.5, 2.25 gallons of fermenting hot peppers. Very excited about that. We'll be emulsifying that here pretty soon and making hot pepper sauce all winter long with that stuff. But yeah, these things pack the heat. I'm gonna have to try these late season ones to see if they're hot. So I might do a video where I eat a Fatali, a Scotch Bonnet, and a Habanero in one video. Does that sound like something you would watch? Does it sound like something I would do? I don't know. That might be silly. Okay, coming down here to the next thing is our Zucchini Dark. And if you watch my videos, right over there next to the fence, I had zucchini already planted, just past all those white flowers. I had a zucchini planted, and they died and didn't do very well because I had them on ground fabric. And so I'm put them over here in the bed, and these are a late planting, so if I get anything from these, I will be ecstatic. But I'm not holding out a whole lot of hope. I've seen a few female flowers, but I haven't seen any take and get pollinated yet. So we'll have to see if we actually get anything from this. The one thing I do want to point out, though, is this. You see this guy right here? I think that may be an elephant garlic. And I think there's another one right there, or some kind of a garlic plant. You can see that tag right there says elephant garlic. That one right there I think says elephant garlic as well. I don't know what happened here. How is this growing now in the fall? If it's been sitting there for a year and it's just now growing. I have another one right here, right below me. Okay, I need to taste this leaf. I'm gonna just cut off a leaf and try it, because you can eat the leaves. Let's see if this tastes like garlic. It is. It's garlic. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is, oh, strong garlic. Holy cow. Okay. I may have just learned something about growing garlic. I don't know. 3 garlic plants. One here, one over there, one over there. This is all grass. I am learning garlic, okay? So this will be my, we have garlic, seed garlic in the fridge. We haven't even opened the box yet. I stuck it directly in the fridge, and we'll be doing that together here pretty soon. So I'm looking over here. I see a female flower right up in there that has not even opened yet. So we'll have to see if we can get any more zucchini out of this. We haven't had any zucchini yet this year, so it's been a little bit disappointing. I'm still trying to figure out zucchini. Mrs. Bowtie loves it. Got to figure it out. Okay, now for the mystery crop. And if you've watched our garden tours, you know what it is. It's our tomatoes. And looky here. We have Roma tomatoes everywhere along here, all along down there. Look at those things. Those are all Roma tomatoes, green ones. And down here, look at all these down here. So this is November, folks, in Florida. It's kind of what we deal with here. These plants were actually planted way back in the end of spring, okay? They produced a few tomatoes for us back then. They suffered through the summer, and now they have decided to come back and start growing again. And this is just, oh, there's one that's not done too well. I hope we don't start getting blossom end rot. I haven't seen any blossom end rot. I don't know if that's what that is or if it just got eaten. We'll have to see. So yeah, tons and tons of Roma tomatoes. Here's the thing, it's a gamble right now. They're all up there, and there's a whole cluster of them. In fact, let me see if I can get up here on the wall so I can get over closer. You can see just tons of them all through there. Tons of Roma tomatoes. Look at those 3 right up there. And so, yeah, we're gonna have Roma tomatoes if the weather holds out. And that's the gamble, folks. And then come around here, look at this. What on earth? Have you ever seen such? Now, I think this is the Super Sweet 100. tomato plant. We have a kind of a mishmash in here. I think all these big clusters are the Super Sweet 100 though. These things are growing, and if we can get them to ripeness, they will be amazing. Let me take you just underneath inside here. So just look, we're underneath the arch trellis now. Look at all the tomatoes. Just in this one pan, there's probably 50 little tomatoes, maybe even 100. Look at, there's a whole bunch under there, a whole bunch there. This thing is just taking off with tomatoes now. Even though these plants have been sitting here all year, this part did have a shade cloth over it, but look at this right here. Now I think this might be the Everglades tomato. Just a beautiful, this thing is so flavorful. I'm gonna go to the outside, work our way around the outside, but I'm gonna go around the end here. This is actually the end of bed number 2. Can you see all the red tomatoes down there? Dozens of them, dozens of them. These things are so delicious. Oh my goodness, they're delicious. Some of the branches have broken off, but they still ripened their tomatoes just the same. But we come around the back here, you can see this thing is just exploded and spilled out on the ground out here. I kind of lost control of it. It was tied up to strings up here. Yeah, we lost control completely. And this thing has just gone all over the place. So yeah, I'm gonna have to harvest some of these tomatoes. Look at them, just dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of tomatoes in here, all the way around. This thing is a pure monster of a plant. And it's all grown up over there, which kind of gets confusing over there because I don't know if some of those are Everglades or if they are Super Sweet 100 tomatoes. Look at all the Romas right there. Let me go over there real quick. So I started counting these Roma tomatoes, and there are a whole bunch in here. Look, there's several up there, hiding out up there, hanging down here. Oh, this is so exciting. Mrs. Bowtie is going to be so happy if we can get all these Roma tomatoes to ripeness. Even back down over this side. This is kind of the opposite side of where we started, but tons and tons of Roma tomatoes. Very exciting. So we head over to the end of this bed right here. Underneath even more tomatoes, we have our goji berry plants, and they're producing more goji berries as well. You can see there's several underneath. They grow underneath and hang down on these branches. Look at all that. They look like a little pepper, but they eat like a tomato. But we got a whole bunch of goji berries in here too. Birds have gotten to some of them. Insects have gotten to a few. But I'm gonna harvest all I can out of this. See what we get. So that's pretty amazing. Nice harvest, hey? So yeah, and this is a time when you know, a lot of people around me are talking about how everyone's tomatoes are gone, and the shade cloth did really good over this arch trellis behind me. I was very happy about that. I have a shade cloth for the beans over here. I never got it up. It was part of that period where we were just traveling like crazy, and a lot of unplanned travel, and just couldn't get to it. So yeah, just craziness. Still growing. I just can't get over it. It's November 12th today, and things are still just thriving. I mean, look at this arch. This is all tomatoes behind me right here. This is both sides of that arch trellis. I could frame my head with this whole arch trellis, and there's hundreds of tomatoes in there. It blows my mind. So last year it wasn't that great. This year we're gonna have tomatoes if the weather will hold out. Our 10-day forecast holds true. It's holding out that we're gonna have developing weather to help our tomato developing weather. Weather that we can ripen our tomatoes with. So I'm hoping that in 2 or 3 weeks we still have good weather, and the long range outlook says that we should, and so we're looking forward to it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the harvest, because I like putting these on the community posts on YouTube and on Facebook and other places. So I don't know, it's just exciting right now. But Speaking of subscribing, like I just said, please do subscribe. We are working on a goal right now, and we're trying to get to our next goal point, and we need subscribers right now. And those of you who have subscribed, y'all have made us to this point, halfway to where we want to be, and it's been amazing to watch the growth like this, see people's response to the videos. So if you thought this was informational, educational, inspirational, or entertaining, click that thumbs up and share this video on your social media with friends who might be interested in gardening or might just need some inspiration to garden. So yeah, I was talking about how something took out the beans, which this really blew me away. Last year the beans were taking over the tomatoes. Well, this Everglades tomato is taking over the bean trellis, and it's taking over the beans. It's actually choking out some of the beans. That's kind of mind-blowing to me. But anyway, how about that tomato harvest? That just blows my mind. Cannot believe it. Those Everglades tomatoes are just amazing, totally amazing. So anyway, wildlife in the garden is awesome. Hope you all are having as successful a fall. I know some people living in the south may be. Those of you in the north, you've been hit by frost, and I've even seen some snow up in farther north regions up there, as far up as Canada. That means it's time to start growing some lettuce indoors. That's what we've been doing. In fact, here's a little clip on some of the lettuce that's growing right now in our bay window that Mrs. Bowtie and I are eating off of, and just enjoying that lettuce. That seems to be the only way I can grow lettuce, summer or winter. But I think we're going to keep this little tray going and plant new ones as the time comes. But anyway, hope you're having as blessed a day as I am. So have a blessed day.